Hey, what's going on, guys? It's good to see some of you here on a Saturday afternoon. I'm going to wait just a few seconds here to see if some more people drop in. In the meantime, let me get ready for a couple of things. That's the song that we're going to be mixing today. If I don't mess it up. So anyway, it's good to see you. Who do we got in here so far? Oh, wow, Greg. Greg from Kentucky. What's up, buddy? I met this guy on Drupal. If you guys don't know what Drupal is, it's kind of a Facebook for musicians. Who we got in here? Marvin Walker, what's up? I see Nick Critchley. He's my right-hand man. If it wasn't for him, I couldn't do half of what I do in my Facebook groups. I don't expect a whole lot of people here today. I mean, being Saturday and people are out doing stuff. It's just the only time that I had to take the time to do this. I'm going to try and do as best I can to keep this as short as possible, but this song has a lot of elements in it. I'm going to have to do some drum replacement. I'm not going to rush through it. I'm hoping to keep it under 2 hours. So if you guys can't stick and stay for the whole time, of course, once this is processed through YouTube, it'll be available to go back and rewatch what parts you missed or go back and use it as a reference. According to me, we only got 5 watchers here, which doesn't surprise me. But hey, I'm not going to waste any time. Let's going to get straight to it. This song came from the Cambridge Mixing Secrets website. Glad I grabbed the stems when I did, because apparently they got hacked and their site is down. It's 27 tracks. The kick track, it doesn't have a kick. It has a trigger track, so there's going to be one of the replacements. More than likely going to replace the snare as well. But anyway, let me give you a quick little tour here. Here is my basic setup. I got my Dusty Attic Studio logo here. And for some of you that might not know who I am, it's Keith Baker from Dusty Attic Studio. I'm in Rockville, Maryland. It's about 10 minutes outside of Washington, D.C. One of these days I'll get out of here. The traffic is horrible. So let's see, what else do I got here. Let me give you just my mixer view here. Just to give you an idea, I got my sweet tea. Can't do anything without my sweet tea. I mean, I got the Studio Live 24 Series 3 mixer here, running in DAW mode. Up here, I have my monitor station and just my keyboard and mouse. I'm really running things very minimal. I use the Eris 8s, the PreSonus Eris 8s speakers, monitors. I'm not using them now. As you can see, I'm on headphones, so you guys are going to have to give me a break. I'll do the best I can on this mix in cans. I typically don't mix in cans, and I highly recommend that you guys don't do it either. So with all that being said, let me go ahead and switch over here to Studio One. And I went to last stream that I did. I had everything. I had the light colors, which I really like, but I use a 42-inch display, and it's so bright in my face that it washes me out, so you guys can't see me. Not that you want to see me anyway. So anyway, let's get straight to it here. I've already got the tracks loaded. I've already got them colored to how I like them. I've done a little bit of gain staging. I've got the tempo set at 190. That's what this song is right around 190. And first thing I do, and again, this is my workflow. Everybody's got their own way of doing things. Plus, I typically have been using a dual display, so for the purpose of this video here, I'm using a single display, so I might fumble around a little bit, but we'll get through it. Anyway, first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to mute all my tracks. This is just my way of doing it. And I don't know if you know this. You just right-click, and then you just drag on over. That way you don't have to sit there and click them all. And let's see here. Also, I'm going to be trying to use as much of the stock plugins as I can, because I know a lot of people are using Prime, which is the free version of Studio One, and Artist, which comes with a lot of the interfaces. But I'll do what I can to keep it minimized to stock native plugs. I will be using third-party plugs because I don't have a choice on some of the things. But anyway, let's get started. Here is what's supposed to be the kick track. I'll go ahead and let you hear that. It's not much of a track here. You can hear it sounds like a click. It's a really poor trigger. They basically, I guess they had a crappy kick drum. So what they did was just EQ the heck out of it and then gated it. I'm pretty sure it's still got some bleed through from like the snare drum or something. But we'll get into that in just a little bit. So we got to turn this into a real kick drum. I always start with my drums, by the way, and then I mix everything into the drums. Quick mix on the drums, and I bring the bass in and maybe some guitars, and then I'll probably go back and tweak the drums. But anyway, so what we got to do is we got to turn this into a real kick. Turn that off. It's annoying as hell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an instrument track here. Turn this from audio to instrument, and I'll name it drums. We'll call it, well, we'll just name it drums 2 for the heck of it, even though it's just a kick. So we got that going there. I got a couple of different drum programs that I can use. I'm going to use a third-party one here, but I'm going to use a free one. That way, if anybody wants it, they can grab this. So I'm going to go into my instruments, and I'm going to go through here, and I'm going to look for my MT Power drum kit. There's a lot of you in my group that already knows about this and use it. It's really good for rock, not so much for anything else, personally. It's just kind of really aggressive, so I'm just going to grab that and drag it in. Get some tea while it sets up. A little slow today. Let's see. All right, that's pretty typical here. All right, so what we're going to do with this trigger track, even though it's not very good, it is going to be helpful. I'm going to use the quantize feature. I'm going to go over here to the top, and I'm going to change this over to groove. And you see this grid up here, my little hand. What I'm going to do, this is really the quickest way to do it. There's other ways to trigger drums, but yeah, this is just certainly the best way to do it. So I'm going to grab this track, and I'm going to drag it in to this grid up here, release it. It's detecting all the transients. As you can see, let me just pick a spot and zoom in. And you can see every place that there was a trigger. Missed one here, but that might not necessarily be a kick, or is a very soft kick. So anyway, so what it did, it put it up here, and it even estimated what the velocities are. Well, a whole lot of good that is, considering this trigger track was already smashed down and gated. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this here, and I'm going to drag it in to the start, to my instrument track. And what it did was made the MIDI nodes here for every place that there was a kick. And maybe a few extras, like I said, from bleeds. And I'm just gonna kind of peek through here and make sure that I have notes where I have transients. And it looks like, for the most part, it is. And let me go to the end of the song here. And that looks good. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and, I'm not going to delete this track yet, but I'm going to go ahead and mute it. I'm sorry, mute it. And then I'm going to come over here and solo this instrument track, and I'm going to take a listen to this and see what we got. And just like I thought, it's wrong on the piano roll. So I'm going to go down here on the right-hand side. My picture's in the way, but I'm going to go to Edit, and that's going to open up my edit window. Let me select the MIDI track. Basically what I'm going to do is just select all these. There is a key command to do that, and I feel horrible because I can't remember what it is at the moment. And then I'm going to look. You can see these velocities down here are kind of all over the place. Just because I mixed this song before, I know I'm going to change those. But for now, what we want to do is we want to get these MIDI notes out of what sounds like it's an open hi-hat down to a snare drum. So since they're all selected, I'm just going to grab one, drag it down. And I think that turned, oh, I want a kick drum, not a snare. And we got a kick now, so let's listen to that. So right there, that quick and easy, we were able to make a kick drum out of just a trigger track. Now something else I'm going to do here, since I know that these velocities are really bad, I'm just going to grab one of them and I'm going to raise them all up, and then I'm going to bring them back down. So what that did was basically just evened all my, it uniformed my velocities. So let me take a listen. And typically I would go in here once I'm listening to the song and I would change the velocities to, you know, like some of these double kicks, like right here. I'll zoom in just a little bit. You know, may not have the force. You know, if the real drummer was playing, he's doing a quick double kick there, unless he's using double pedal. These might not be as strong, but I'm not going to worry about that today. What I am going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to hit Humanize. And I'm going to hit OK. And what you're going to see here is that it didn't jam any of them way down low to where you're not going to hear it, but it did kind of make them inconsistent, kind of like what, well, a human would do. And that's as far as I'm going to go with setting up the velocities on this. Because, you know, if I sat here and went through each one individually, we'd be here for 3-4 hours. And then as it sits, we're going to be here for a little while as it is. So let me get out of my edit screen here. And I'm just going to play through that, see how they sound. Let me open up my mixer. I'm good. I'm sitting right around -12, which is exactly where I want to be. Okay, cool. I like it. We got a kick. So let's go ahead and treat it. Because it's a sampled sound, I'm not going to use a compressor on it, and because I already know the velocities are kind of the same anyway. So let me go back over here to my effects. What I am going to do is come in here to use the stock EQ, the Pro EQ, and drop it in here, and we're going to see if we can't get a little more, well, for the lack of better words, get some more balls out of this. Let's see. Probably going to boost up around the 50. Don't have to pull out any of the mids because it looks like it's already been done. I may add a little bit of 4K in there or something like that. That's probably too much for this song, but for now I'm going to leave it. And do this. So this track I can really I'm just going to go ahead and delete it now and get it over with. Only being on one display, I don't have the real estate, so let's remove that track. This one over here is just my talkback mic that I'm using right now. Also, so what I'm going to do, I'm happy with that. I know it's where I want it to be. I know I'm not going to change the velocity, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to convert this over to transform this over to a audio track. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to preserve the instrument state. Emails. And I'm going to go ahead and remove the instrument. I'm going to hit OK. And now we have, zoom in, what looks to be a regular kick drum transient. You see this little line that's in here. That's what it meant by keeping the instrument state. Because 6 months from now, if I want to change something, I can transform this back to a MIDI track. All right, so I got my kick the way I want it, at least for now. So let's move on over to the snare. And I know this snare is not exactly what I want it to be, so let's listen to it here. You know what? I'll try and work with it. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to see if I can fix it. If I can't, I'll do the same thing. I'll do a quick trigger on it. I won't go into a lot of detail. I'll just do it fast, get it over with. But let me go ahead and I'm a true believer in going in and starting with your presets. So I'm going to come right down here to a rock snare. And let's see what that did. Didn't help much at all. Well, it's not the worst snare that I've heard, so I think I'm going to run with it. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and bring in some reverb and see if we can't get that thing to sound just a little bit better. Let's see. I'll go with the stock reverb. Where's my reverb? Right here. I'm going to go to a mix verb. I'm going to put it in the send. And it's going to create an FX bus. I'm just going to push it over here to the side. I keep my this is my audio here. I usually uncheck these here because I like to be able to put my VCA faders, my buses, and my FX channels where I want. For now, I'm just going to stick it over here to keep it out of the way. You should get in the habit of naming them too. It's mixed verb, but you should put on here snare verb. I'm just not going to worry about that right now. All right, let's see what it sounds like with the stock preset. Okay. Again, it's not the worst I've heard. Drag this down. All right, well, let's move on over. Oh, you got the overheads here. Let's see what they sound like here. Got a lot of the drums bleeding into those overheads, and I'm actually going to try and use some of that. All right, well, let's play it out and get some treatment on it. Again, I'm going to my presets, look for an overheads. I tell you, a lot of reasons why I just go ahead and use the presets is just because it brings in the compressor and the EQ automatically. I don't have to come over here and drag them in separately. Just a little bit quicker, even though I don't typically use the presets. So anyway, let me move on. Got too much reverb in that snare. Okay, I'm okay with that. And let's move on. We got our toms here, so let me find some tom hits. And the fun part is I'm going to take my loop tool here, activate that, and we're going to play that part over and over and over while I set these. I'm sure a lot of you guys have already been through this, so bear with me. It's pretty monotonous. Ooh, terrible. All right, well, let's work on the one. Let's go back into my preset. tom. It helped a little bit. Change my expander here. By the way, if you all don't know what the expander is, it's like a gate, but you have a little more control over it. But I don't really want it to do that. I want to be able to hear some of the tom ring out. I can hear a stick flopping around too. What do we got going on the compressor here? Yeah, it's hitting too hard. I just want it to grab here. Looks like I'm about a dB.5 of reduction. So if he gets a little wild later in the song, it'll control it. Let's take a look at this EQ. I'm going to go ahead and default this out. A lot of times I like to add what the drum is looking for, so I'm going to bump this up here. Can't see what it is. It's about 150 H. Let's pull some of the mids out. And then let's give some 5K, between 2, 5, we'll see, to get some punch. Hit that stick. God, I can really hear him stick just dragging on there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is move over to my next tom. This is a floor tom. And I'm just going to kind of drag everything over that I used on the other one and then tweak them. Wow, Nick, when you said that that thing was bad, you weren't kidding. I'm not going to spread these out too far since he only has 2 toms. Check on the panning. All right, let's bring the rest of the kit back in. Actually, it didn't work out too bad. And what is this loop we got here? I think that's something at the end of the song. Yeah, it is. These 3. Right. So really, excuse me, that's it. Let's take this from the top and let's listen to this. Don't sound too shabby, but we're going to take it a step further. This is an instrument track, so let's call this kick now. Might as well change it to the same color as all the rest. I don't even know what color I have. That looks like it's close. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all my drums here. I'm going to highlight them basically I select the first one, hit shift and select the last one, and then I'm going to right click on here and I'm going to add a bus because I want to put a little bit more treatment on there. I want to put a tube compressor and I want to put an exciter. That way I can build some of the low end and maybe get a little punch out of the top. Let's see. And I'm going to be using the Nomad Factory Magma for that. If you guys seen my live stream before, or even some of my tutorial videos, you'll probably see that before. So where's my Magma? And there it is. So I'm going to drop that on my bus. Now I have a preset that I've tweaked just to save time. I'm going to go in here to my drums. It's just an enhancer. Load that up. This is just a, I do have a gate on here. It's not hitting it too hard. It's just kind of keeping everything under control. This is just a 31 band analyzer, so I can take a peek to see what's going on. I got my tube compressor, which I've already set. And then I have my Claritone harmonic enhancer, which really is just an exciter in my book. But let me turn it off and play those drums, and then I'll turn it on. I'll let you hear what the difference is. I'm probably going to tweak the sub bass a little bit. And let's see. This thing takes up so much room. It's like the Slate mix rack. All right, that's off. And let's turn this on. Ooh, that's got a lot of lows. That's crazy. I love that plug-in. But it looks like I got a little bit too much low-end meat going in on the kick. Although I'm pretty sure I'm going to be using that for most of the low end. I'm probably going to have the bass guitar cover more of the 200 range. But let's take a peek here. Nick Critchley is probably cringing in his shoes. He always says that I have my drums too loud. Sorry about that, Nick. Oh, wow. Who do we got in here? Rainer, what's going on, brother? I don't mean to ignore you guys. I'm just trying to keep this from taking too long. I see we still got 7 people in here watching. Good, Nick. I see he's putting up the links to some of the freebie software, VSTs that I'm going to be using. And once this thing is done and it's processed and it's going to be on YouTube forever, down in the description, I'm going to go ahead and put all the links down there too. And for those of you who are interested in mixing this, if you're not from our Studio One group, these stems, the tracks, the multi-tracks are available. I probably will put a link to my Dropbox so you can grab them too, and then you can mix away whenever you want. All right, now back to my drums. I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to highlight my kick. I'm going to hit shift, and then select them all, and then I am going to add a VCA fader. VCA fader is not a bus. There's nothing you can do to put treatment on here. What it does is it will come in here and it'll control all of my drums. You know, let's say I have them just the way I want them. Not sure I do yet, but and I got the mix going, and I think the drums need to come up. I can just come over here to my VCA fader. On the old systems, they were DCAs, but I can bring them all up, and they move relevant to each other. So it keeps everything just the way that you wanted it. For now, I'm just going to leave it at 0 dB. You can still come in and move each individual one independently, which is a really cool feature. Okay, so this one here, I guess I can just move this over here. This is a reverse cymbal. It's annoying as hell if you ask me. Let me rewind this back. Go ahead and zoom in, and you can see it. I'm going to turn it down because I know it's loud. Let you hear what it is. Didn't hear it at all. So what I want to do is get that level set. It only happens twice in the song, and I'm not going to put any treatment on it. There's just no reason for it. Sounds about right. Okay, you know what? I'm going to move my tambourine over. You can see I've already gain staged that. That thing was hot as all get out. But let me go ahead and add that in real quick here. I like having it on the right hand side. I mean the left hand side. I hope my left and right is working here. Let me see if I can find I'm going to reverse them. I think I'm going to throw a dual pan in here. Is it under dynamics? Nick, where the hell is my dual pan? Is it under mixing maybe? Yeah. I'm just going to drop that in there. I'm basically reversing that stereo. I could just very easily click here and make it a mono, but there's some bleed in it. So basically what I did was I just changed which direction it is. Now it should be in the right hand side. Really didn't need to do that, but I thought it's a cool feature. Just wanted to share that with you. Okay, these other drums here are actually, let me just highlight them and I'll show you what they are. At the end of the song, I guess I can go ahead and get them set up and just loop them. What I'll have to do with those is balance them out to make sure that they're the same level. The same level as the other drums, so take a quick peek at that. A little loud. And since these are treated, again, I'm not going to put anything on there. I mean, I may come back and put a little EQ in there if I need to make some space for it, like I'm probably going to have to do with the tambourine. I try to mix as minimalistic as possible. I've said this 1,000 times before, and I'm going to say it again. Don't over-engineer your stuff. All you're going to do is muddy it up. All right, so we got our drums going. Let's see. Those overheads are a little hot. And Nick Critchley, it's your favorite time, bud. I know you don't like the way I mix my basses, but here we go. Hey, I see Truckee has jumped in. What's going on? Hi, Bobby Booth. What's going on? Andy Arthur, Thunder Creek Studios, my buddy down in Vicksburg, Mississippi. I'm going to be down at his place in September. We have some dates that are a little mixed up, but we'll get it worked out because he's going to be running sound for, and he's already been running sound for Rick Nakfi's band, or Rick Nakfi from Presonus. He's got a band called Fat Hat that's just absolutely incredible. Some of the tightest musicians that I've heard in a long time. But Andy's got like 4, maybe 5 shows that he's running sound for them, and I'm going to be down there for one of them, and I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's get to this bass. Go back to my presets here. Guitar, let's go to funk bass. Let's see what that compressor's doing. It's doing its job. I know it's nice and clean, so I don't need to hit it too hard. Looks like I'm getting around 3 dB of reduction. Might put this, I'm okay with the attack. I think I'm going to bring this release out and hold it just a little longer, around 200. Already starting to clear up. Let's take a look at this EQ. I am going to go ahead and default it. Now, if you remember, I said, you looked, I had my kick drum. I was trying to boost a lot of the low end around the 58G mark. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that drive the real low end, and then I'm going to let the bass kind of cover up in the 100 to 200 range. So let's see how. Let me get it kind of close, and then I'll bring the drums back in. We'll see how it works out. Doesn't sound like I need to add any 2 or 3K. Hear those fingers. I'll add a little 2K. Probably roll a little bit off here. Don't want all those unwanted frequencies flying around with that kick drum. And that kick drum is pushing up all that 50 Hz. So let's roll this back. And let me, you know what I'm going to do? I want to bring my VCA fader. I'm going to slide it down here next to my bass because it's still going to be controlling just these parts of my drums. So now I can solo all my drums. So let's take a listen. sounds pretty good, actually. I'm gonna, I don't know if a lot of you know up here, if you watch my mouse on the left-hand side, this is a global on and off of all your plugins. I'm gonna turn all my plugins off. If you watch this bass here, you'll see them turn off. It turned all my drums off, and even turned the one off on my microphone. I got my vocals crushed. I want to sound like a radio announcer. Hello, Keith Baker from DC 101. Anyway, let's take a listen what all that sounds like without any treatment, and just to see how far we've gotten. It's just crazy. I'm gonna add it back. Okay, one thing that I start to see that I've actually caused my own problem here is this. I'm trying to get good kick drum and drums and bass response all together. I had to push the bass up to the point where it's starting to clip. I'm going to say this, and a lot of people don't like it, but there is really no clipping in digital recording or digital mixing. But I'm going to drop it down anyway. The reason why I'm going to do that is because my mastering tools I'm going to put in here, I like to hit very light. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, I mean, I could just grab my VCA fader and my bass drum and my bass guitar and just drop them down, but I'm just going to do it a little different. I'm going to go ahead and go through here. And I'm just going to highlight each track. I'm going to skip over. I'm going to skip over my buses because I know I got these things kind of close. And then I'm going to bring here. And just play it, and I'm going to bring everything down together. All right, I'm digging that. I'm sure we're going to get back to it. After I get these guitars in, I'm going to probably have to go back and tweak a little bit of everything. Let's see what we got here. Dirty guitars. I'm going to right-click up here, fit this together. Oh, I think that's a clean guitar. Let me take a listen to that one by itself. Oh, I just thought of something. Nick fixed a track for me that was, the guitars were out of time and I forgot to put it in. So we're going to deal with what we got here. So we got these two tracks, they're the same thing. So what I'm going to do is highlight them. Select them both. Let me close this, get some more real estate. They're playing exactly the same thing. I'm going to go hard left with one, hard right to the other. Let me put one of them back in the center for a second because I'm going to, let me treat this one. I keep hitting the wrong button. All right, let's listen to that. Let me put a loop. It's going to drive us crazy. All right, you guys could see what I was doing there. You didn't need me to explain everything. That's going to get me close. Okay, here we go. Nick, you might want to get ready for this one. I am going to go to my favorite go-to reverb, and that's the Vox & Go old school verb. I'm going to drop that in. And let me get rid of this bus. Put it right there, get it out of my way. And let me adjust that reverb, because once I get done with this track, I'm gonna duplicate it all over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and drag it on over to this side. Again, I'm just getting them close. These will be changed, may or may not be changed. All right, let's go ahead and spread those out now. Let's see what they sound like now. I mean, they don't really even need any other effect. I mean, a lot of times on guitars like this, I might even throw in some flanger or a little phase shifter or some chorus. I just think these things are sweet just the way they are, just adding a little reverb and just controlling some of the frequencies. Let's bring in, well, before I do that, let me see how close these levels are. All right, cool. Got those levels set so they're the same. I've gone ahead and selected them both, and I'm going to group these tracks. So no matter what, they're always going to move together. When I'll screw up and, well, you know, hit one wrong and mess everything up. So let's see what we got here during this part. All right, for now we're going to leave that there. Let's take a listen to, what do we got here? These guitars here. I believe those are the intros. Ouch. They're going to need a little work. Drop them down there for a second. Take a close look at these here, these meters. These guitars are really crunchy. This is another one of those times where I am not going to use a compressor on it. I'm just going to EQ these things to get them to sit right. I'm sure I'm going to have to add a little reverb to it as well. There may be spots where a compressor would help. Don't forget over here on my main bus, mix bus, master bus, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to have a final compressor over there. It's going to catch all kinds of stuff. So, all right, let's just go ahead here and go to single one, and let's bring an EQ in. And I'm going to use the stock Pro EQ. I love this EQ. I just wish it wouldn't take up the whole screen. I mean, these things almost look like they've already been treated in a way. I mean, it's already got a bunch of everything kind of, you can see everything kind of fall off over at, you know, below 100. And where are we at the top end? Yeah, like 5K down, it starts to roll off. But I like that. I typically would use the same reverb as I used on other guitars, which I'll use them on the distorted guitars. I'll use all the same reverb, but I think I'm going to use a different instance. No, I'm not. I call myself a liar. I'm going to grab the reverb that I had on the clean guitars, because I'm probably not going to need as much, and I can just lower it here. Something else here that a lot of people don't know that I'll show you in just a second here, but let's see what this sounds like. Okay, that's actually not too bad. Can you people see these, this little white spot here? This is so you can pan your effect. Like this reverb, for instance. I like my reverb sitting in the middle and being stereo, but a lot of people don't. I'm going to use a clean guitar just because it's easier to hear. Listen what happens here. Except I got those grouped and I only want the one. So let me dissolve this group. Let's listen to this guitar. Stick that back in the middle. Listen what you can do with the reverb. Kind of cool. Just thought I'd throw that your way. Let me go ahead and group those back. Group selected. All right, so let's get back to these meaty guitars. Okay, we're getting there. Let me see what this electric guitar is doing here. Let's see here. Ah, yeah. I remember that one. This one I am going to drop a compressor on. Let me go ahead and loop it there. We're getting close. This might not be taking as long as I thought it was going to. What do we got here? What's this one little chunk of guitar? Something they forgot, I guess. So you guys hanging in there. See, we got 10 people hanging in there. I really didn't even expect to have 10 people in here today. People's just got better things to do than, you know, watch me on a Saturday afternoon on their days off. Anyway, let me get my loop set for this. Let's see what this is all about. Not much to it. I forgot to put my loop on. Let's get that level set. Well, let's have a little fun with this one. I'm going to turn that back on. It just sounds funny when with everything that's going on and then this thing kicks in just sitting dead center. I am going to go to my Blue Cat Audio. I'm going to look for my stereo flanger. Again, this is a free one, guys. Nick, you want to take care of that? I'm cheap. And I'm just going to use a detune on this. I'm going to take this thing and I'm going to make it a stereo track. I want my flanger to go into my reverb. And let me see. I'll show you what I did. Without the flanger, it's not really doing a whole lot of effect because it's super mild, but what it's doing is it's spreading it out. Just a cool little trick. All right, let's get those levels set. And this is the part that Nick fixed for me. And I blew it by not putting it in here. But I'm just going to use it the way it is. It's another clean guitar. It's already got, which sounds like to me to be a phase shifter on it. So all I'm going to do is put a little compression and EQ on it. Maybe drag that reverb over. Let's see here. You see, I just grab the top basic acoustic and then I guitar preset, and then I come over here and I just default everything out. I better default this one out first because it's noisy. For me, it's just a little quicker. Do whatever you want. Let's see. All right, let's get some stuff set. So I see during that part here where they have this loop of, I don't know what that stuff is, and then this reverb drum thing. They're still using the overhead here. But for that to work, I have to turn it up real loud, and well, that just ain't cutting it for me, because then it's too loud for the rest of the song. So let me see where this starts. So I could go in here and automate this part, but I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to go in here and cut it on each side, do a little clip gain, push it up about 3 dB and see what it does here, because I can't have my overheads that loud. Let's loop that part and see if we can't get this weird stuff going. Okay, I'm getting there. So now I'm gonna go, what do I want to do now? Should I go through and get all these levels set exactly perfectly, or should I go back or start on the vocals and break up some of this monotony? I guess I'm gonna go ahead and do a vocal. How about that? Let's take a listen to her vocals. I'm just going to loop a spot.
You are the one, you make me feel like this. You are the one, screaming right. You hit.
We need to get some compression in there. I could use a vocal and go to a female pop or whatever. And it brings in reverb. I don't want that. I have a feeling they shoot all that up. Yeah, I'm just gonna default all this out. Actually, it might work.
But crit, missing puzzle piece. Come and
I'm
fill
gonna
me
crush her
in.
vocals.
The devil's words have spoken to me. You are the one, you make me feel like this. You are the one, screaming you hypocrite. I'm missing puzzle piece. Come and fill me in. The devil's words have spoken to me. The devil's words have spoken to me. The devil's words have spoken to me.
Okay. Did I put a loop in there on that vocal? All right, let's do it.
But crit, missing puzzle piece. Come and fill me in. The devil's words have spoken.
All right, I'm going to go into my reverb. I used to use a lot of delay on vocals back in the day. Not so much in the studio as I did when I ran live sound. But I'm going to go to my old faithful, the old school, drop it on here. And I want to pull some of the space out of here. I'm going to put a big old fat pre-delay on there. I'm going to get my... And let's see what that did to her.
And so me, you are the one, you make me feel like this. You are the one, screaming you hypocrite. I'm missing puzzle piece. Come and fill me in. The devil's words have spoken to me. The devil's words have spoken to me. The devil's words have spoken. Oh, the one, you make me feel like this. You are the one. Take a look around, see the house we built.
Let's see what we got with these backup vocals here. I think this is just a double here.
You are the one, you make me feel like this.
Yeah, and she does all the backup vocals on this, so you're going to see me stealing a lot of compressors and EQs. And the reverb too. Let's get those set there.
You are the one, you make me feel like this. You are the one, screaming hypocrite, missing puzzle piece. Come and fill me.
It's be a good time to have vocal line since it's all off. But it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and audio bend these vocals or we'll be here all day.
Missing puzzle piece, come and fill me in. The devil's words has spoken to me. The devil's words has spoken to me.
Alright, so I like those two the way they are for now. I'm going to go ahead and group them. Now we got these other backup vocals here. A lot of backup vocals in this song. I think she drops like a fifth on these.
You are the one. You are the one. You are the one. You are the one.
What I am going to do is, again, probably thinking I could just bust all these and put them all together, but these stock plugins don't use any, don't really use a lot of CPU, so I don't mind. I'm not going to throw more reverb on top of it though. I just don't want it to start to get too much mud going on. So let's see what they sound like all with everything.
You are the one, you make me feel like this. We're falling down. You are the one, you make me feel like this. You are the one.
Alright, let's see what they sound like. I'm only going to take them out about 50. If I can get it. 51 close enough. I don't like to spread my backup vocals so far out that, you know, sounds like one of them's in the other room. So let's see how this sounds like.
We're falling down. You are the one, you make me feel like this. You are the one, screaming hypocrite, missing puzzle piece. Come and fill me in. The devil's words has spoken to me. The devil's words has spoken to me. Take your time, I won't be long.
Alright, we're getting there. Oh, geez, look at all these other backup vocals we still got. You hit F3 and get out of here and see what this is. Oh, these fours are just, I know what they are. Let's go back to my mixer. These I'm gonna bus because they're all the same thing. Right click, add bus for selected. Again, I'm not going to throw any more reverb on it. And I'm going to steal the compressor and the EQ. I can even go ahead and put a VCA fader on. But what I'm just going to do, let's see what the levels are. Get the levels all matched together, and then I'll just group them up.
Ooh, ooh.
same.
Ooh.
So I'm just going to spread these two out. Okay, let's see what they sound like. My ears are getting tired in these cans. I don't know how you guys who mix in cans all day can stand it. And what do we got here? Let's see what these are. Probably can send those to the same bus.
You are the one.
Yikes.
You are the one.
I think I am going to send it to the same bus. Oh, where am I going to do that on here? My vocal mic is not supposed to cut off. Strange. All right, so 2, 3, 4. All right, I'm going to send this to bus 2. However the hell it is. Bus 2. Oh, they already went both. All right. So now everything goes to that bus. Let's see what they sound like. That's loud. I should turn this down a little bit. Looks like I got everything on the solo. Okay. Let's take a listen to that one more time. I think I'm going to throw some reverb just on these two. Where can I steal it from? Well, what is my CPU sitting at? 12%. I think I can afford to throw a reverb on there. They're already bust and they're already being compressed, but I just want a little reverb on these two vocals. I'm cool with that.
You are the one.
Let's group those together. All right, let's go through the whole song here and see how close we are. Okay, she gets a little loud in that one spot. And again, since they're pretty isolated, I can just go in here and clip gain this instead of going and automating it. Let's see. Got to be careful because I just cut the bottom one too. My wife just got home and all my dogs just came in. You need to get through to get to the microwave, babe. You can sneak on by. Sorry about that, guys. Let me group these vocals here. Dissolve group. So I can cut that one piece. I mean, I could probably compress the heck out of it, but this is just quick and easy. Let's try that. I might cut that just a little bit there too. And drop it about 3 dB.
You're the one, you make me feel like this. You're the one, screaming you hypocrite. Missing puzzle piece, come and fill me in. The devil's words have spoken to me. You are the one, you make me feel like this. You are the one, screaming you hypocrite. I'm missing puzzle piece, come and fill me in. The devil's words have spoken to me. The devil's words have spoken to me. The devil's words have spoken to me.
Never understood why that song ended the way it did. Okay, I'm kind of cool with that. Now I'm going to move on to some mastering treatment. My wife get back by. Baby, shut that door. Take the puppies. I got 3 Yorkies. My guard dogs. Let's see. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get I want to put a bus compressor on here. I'm going to use a stock one. I've got SSLs and Nomad, but this really, the stock one really does what I need it to do. Let's see, compressor, just going to drag that on in. And let's go over here to, well, master bus. Basically, it's got a slow attack and a slow release, and you're only going to be using 2-to-1 ratio, and then your knee is like next to nothing, because basically what it's going to do is catch peaks. And so really all I have to do here is adjust my threshold. So let's start the song from the beginning, and let's see what happens here. I mean, if your mix is really good, you almost don't need this. I've zipped through this pretty fast, and I know there's things that needs to be changed, and I probably can't hear the things that I would normally be able to hear, you know, going through my studio monitors. I hate mixing in headphones. So I'm going on the assumption that this is sounding the way it's supposed to. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue.
Falling
that's starting to sound pretty good. All right. You know what I think this song needs? I think it needs a little more dirt. The heck is it called? I'm going to bring in a tube saturator here. This thing is, I think this thing is still free. I like it. I'm going to put it in here and show you what it does, but it is a CPU hog. So if you're running a, you know, a moderate system like I am, I mean, mine's very modest. You could run into some issues running it, but I'm going to try. Even though I'm running the OBS software, I think I might be able to get away with it. So let's see what this does here. First thing I want to do is, this is cool. Take this drive down. I know I'm going to put a little, I'm going to kick up a little bass and leave the mids alone, a little highs. I mean, look at my CPU here. Watch when I turn this thing off. I might not be able to use it running OBS, but we'll give it a shot here. I just want you to see what it does when you start pushing up this drive. I don't know if I'm going to be able to leave it on there, but I'm going to try, because the last thing, well, there's two more things I want to put on here. I want to put on this Ozone Imager. What that's going to do is allow me to kind of, I got some good glue going on here in the song, but this is going to allow me to spread things out a little bit. So let's do that.
This broken fairy tale, pages ripped and torn. I wanna stop from caving, stop from falling down. We're falling down. We're falling down. You are the one. You are the one screaming your hypocrite. Missing puzzle piece, come and fill me in. The devil's voice has spoken to.
Okay, last but not least, I want to put on tape right at the very end of it. I mean, I know a lot of people like to put tape across every channel. I don't do that. I mean, it's an emulator. In analog studios, once you're done, and you record the tape. Get rid of that spring and making that noise. I mean, you go on your board and you go to tape, and then you go back from the tape through your board when you're doing your mixing, and you go down to, you know, you start with your 2-inch tape and you go down to your 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch, whatever you're mastering down to. So I'm basically kind of just doing it like that. I'm putting it down to my 1/4 inch tape, I just don't know if my CPU is going to be able to handle it with that tube saturator, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. The virtual tape mix. I'm a tape machine from Slate. This could put me over the edge, guys. We're going to find out here. Let me turn some of this down. I know I got a hot signal going into my main now, so. Whew, that girl's got some pipes. I mean, I got this mix pretty well down. I mean, we are real close to finishing this up. I still got to put a post limiter on here, and we know how post limiters are. I would typically use my my fab filter. I may just go straight to the stock one, just because it uses less CPU. But let me see if I can get my fab filter on there. As soon as I can find it. Go vendor, Fab Filter, Pro 64. Man, I'm pushing my computer to its knees. All right, let's see what we got here.
I wanna stop from caving and stop from falling down. We're falling down. You are the one. You make me feel like this. You are the one. Screaming hypocrite. Missing puzzle piece. Come and fill me in. The devil's voice has spoken to me. The devil's voice has spoken to me. Take your time, I won't be long. Were the words I said to you. I knew I was lying, no, but it would hurt to tell the truth. This broken fairy tale, pages ripped and torn. I wanna stop from caving, stop from falling down. We're falling down. We're falling down. You are the one. You make me feel like this. You are the one. Screaming you hypocrite. Missing puzzle piece. Come and fill me in. The devil's voice has spoken to me. You are the one. You make me feel like this. You are the one. Screaming you hypocrite. Missing puzzle piece. Come and fill me in. You are the one. You make me feel like this. You are the one. Screaming you hypocrite. I'm missing puzzle piece. Come and the devil's voice has spoken to me. The devil's voice has spoken to me.
Well, I don't know, guys. In my headphones, they sound pretty good. I'm sure once I take them off and listen in my monitors, I'm going to hear differences. What do you guys think so far? You like what you hear? You like my workflow on a single display? Let me know. I see Bobby's still there. Still got 8 watching. Not too bad. Let's see here, guys. Oh, I see Nick's got the tube driver up there. He's got the Ozone Imager up there. Thanks, Nick. I really appreciate you taking care of that. So let's run through this song. I'm not going to make any more changes. I'm going to call this end. I'm Keith Baker from Dusty Attic Studio. I want to thank you guys for taking Saturday off to spend a couple hours with me. I'm just going to play this song out, and if you have any questions, you can reach me down below on YouTube on this. Feel free. There is no dumb questions. There are no dumb questions. The guys in my group, you know, give me feedback. I sucked. I did a great job. Oh, I learned this. I didn't learn that. Or can you show me something else on the next live stream? Just let me know. I'm just glad that I was able to do this for you guys. And I'm going to play this song out, and we're going to call it a day. Thanks, Nick, for all your help. And I'll talk to you guys later.
Soon show itself. I wanna stop from caving in.